The Ultimate Time ROI. How the Best Performers Invest Their Hours Wisely. Written by Ronnie Rowland, published by Growth Literacy Lounge. What if every hour you spent today had the potential to multiply your success tomorrow? The most successful people don't just manage their time, they invest it, treating each minute as an asset in a high-yield portfolio. They understand that time, when used wisely, compounds like financial wealth, leading to exponential growth in productivity, skill mastery, and long-term success. The problem? Most people let time slip away unnoticed. They get caught in cycles of reactive work, endless distractions, and low-value tasks, mistaking busyness for progress. They start each day feeling overwhelmed and end it feeling unaccomplished, unaware that their daily choices are either compounding in their favor or against them. But what if you could take control of your time, the way an investor takes control of their portfolio? Imagine eliminating low-return activities, optimizing focus, and building systems that free up time for deep, meaningful work. What if you could structure your days so that every hour contributed to your future success instead of being lost to distractions? Consider two professionals with the same 24 hours. One is constantly drowning in emails, back-to-back meetings, and last-minute deadlines. The other has structured their time to focus on deep work, strategic thinking, and personal growth. A year later, their results aren't even close. One remains stuck in a cycle of exhaustion, while the other has compounded their time investments into significant achievements. The question isn't how much time you have, it's how wisely you use it. The difference between average and exceptional isn't talent or luck, it's how effectively you invest your time. Your ultimate time ROI begins now. Chapter 1. Time as an investment portfolio. Time is your most valuable asset. Unlike money, which you can earn, save, or even borrow, time moves in one direction. Once it's gone, it's gone. Every minute you use either builds your future or slips away unnoticed. The key to maximizing productivity isn't just managing time, it's investing it, the same way a savvy investor grows a financial portfolio. Every decision compounds, leading to exponential success or accumulating losses. Think of the difference between an impulsive spender and a strategic investor. Someone who spends without a plan may feel productive, but at the end of the day they have little to show for it. Scrolling social media, constantly checking emails, or multitasking on minor tasks gives the illusion of accomplishment but rarely moves the needle. A time investor, on the other hand, approaches each hour with intention. They prioritize deep work, skill building, and efficiency, actions that create long-term value and save time in the future. The secret to financial wealth is compounding, and the same principle applies to time. Small, consistent actions generate momentum that leads to extraordinary results. Reading for 20 minutes a day may not seem like much, but over a year, it adds up to dozens of books, deepening knowledge and expanding opportunities. A writer who commits to just 200 words a day will have a full manuscript in months. These daily habits may feel insignificant in the moment, but over time, their impact is massive. One of the biggest mistakes people make is confusing busyness with productivity. Checking emails every 5 minutes feels productive, but it shatters focus and drains time. The real winners? They set dedicated time blocks for communication and guard their deep work sessions. Like a long-term investor who resists reacting to daily market swings, a time investor focuses on high-impact activities that yield lasting value. If you want to start investing time wisely, first, audit how you're currently spending it. Just as financial advisors analyze expenses before creating an investment plan, a time investor must assess daily habits. Where is your time going? What activities bring real results, and what are just distractions? Identify time drains, excessive meetings, endless notifications, or reactive work that fills your schedule but leads nowhere. Once you recognize these patterns, you can start reallocating time to high-yield activities like strategic planning, skill building, and automation. Automation is one of the most powerful tools for compounding time investments. Just as a business scales through systems and teams, you can streamline your workflow by eliminating repetitive tasks. Scheduling tools, email filters, and delegation free up mental energy for high-impact work. Each minute saved compounds into hours, then days, and eventually, a lifetime of regained time. Smart investors don't put all their money in one place, they diversify. The same applies to time. Productivity matters, but so do health, relationships, and personal growth. Investing in fitness pays dividends in energy and longevity. Nurturing relationships creates opportunities and a strong support system. Continuous learning fuels adaptability and innovation. True productivity isn't about doing more, it's about investing in the things that generate the highest long-term return. A common pitfall is mistaking movement for progress. Just as financial wealth isn't measured by spending, productivity isn't measured by a packed calendar. A skilled time investor doesn't chase busyness, they focus on impact. They understand that saying no to low-value activities is just as important as saying yes to the right ones. Every moment is either building your future or draining it. Time invested in meaningful work compounds into a lifetime of success, while time wasted is an opportunity lost. Shifting from spending time to investing it is the key to unlocking exponential growth. Like a financial portfolio, the rewards may not be immediate, but over weeks, months, and years, the returns are unstoppable. Chapter 2. The Power of Time Compounding. Success isn't an overnight event, it's a process. Just as financial wealth grows through compounding, productivity multiplies when time is invested wisely. The highest achievers don't work harder, they work smarter, making small, consistent improvements that stack up over time. Every focused minute creates a ripple effect, amplifying results far beyond the present moment. Momentum is the secret behind compounding. Picture a snowball rolling down a hill. It starts small, but as it moves, it gathers more snow, growing larger and gaining speed. Productivity works the same way. A simple habit, whether reading, exercising, or writing, may seem minor at first, but over months and years the impact is enormous. Just like a smart investor reinvests earnings to fuel financial growth, a time investor ensures today's efforts lay the foundation for tomorrow's success. Skill development is one of the most powerful ways to leverage time compounding. Learning something new requires an upfront investment, but the long-term return is exponential. Someone who dedicates an hour a day to mastering a new skill will be far ahead in just a few months. A professional who continuously sharpens their expertise stays competitive in an ever-evolving world. The time spent learning today doesn't just benefit the present, it pays dividends for a lifetime. Deep work is another prime example of compounding in action. When you devote focused time to a meaningful project, your brain strengthens its neural connections, making future work easier and more efficient. A person who engages in uninterrupted, high-concentration sessions builds momentum, turning complex tasks into second nature. In contrast, someone who constantly multitasks resets their progress every time they switch focus, preventing the compounding effect from taking hold. The more time you protect for deep work, the greater your long-term results. Habits are the engine behind productivity compounding. Small daily actions, repeated consistently, create a self-sustaining system. Writing 200 words per day seems trivial, but in a year, it adds up to a full book. Reading just 10 pages daily turns into dozens of books annually. Eliminating 30 minutes of distractions each day recovers more than 180 hours per year. The difference between those who achieve extraordinary success and those who remain stagnant often boils down to these small, compounding efforts over time. But compounding isn't always positive. Negative habits build up just as powerfully. Like financial debt accumulating through poor decisions, wasted time snowballs into lost potential. Procrastination, distractions, and reactive work might feel insignificant in the moment, but their cumulative effect is enormous. Someone who spends 2 hours a day on unproductive activities loses over a month's worth of time every year. Identifying and eliminating these time drains is crucial to unlocking true productivity. To fully harness time compounding, structure your schedule around high-value activities. Prioritize tasks that generate lasting benefits rather than those with fleeting rewards. Block out time for skill development, deep work, and strategic planning. Resist the pull of short-term gratification that comes at the expense of long-term progress. Every moment spent on meaningful work today creates a foundation for greater opportunities in the future. Compounding doesn't just apply to productivity, it's a game changer for relationships. Just as small financial investments grow into significant wealth, consistent efforts to build strong connections yield lifelong rewards. Regular check-ins with mentors, colleagues, and friends strengthen networks that open new doors. Investing time in genuine conversations fosters trust, which, over years turns into partnerships, collaborations, and career advancements. The secret to maximizing time compounding? Patience. Just as financial investments take time to grow, so do productivity habits. Many people quit too soon because they don't see immediate results, not realizing that breakthroughs come after sustained effort. The first few months of learning a new skill may feel slow, but eventually progress accelerates. The early days of habit formation may seem insignificant, but over time, small wins stack up into massive success. Every decision you make today shapes your future. Time, like money, can either be invested or wasted. By prioritizing high-yield activities, eliminating time debt, and trusting in the power of compounding, you can exponentially boost your productivity. The most successful people understand that greatness isn't a single event, it's the result of countless small efforts accumulating over time. The real question isn't whether time will compound, but whether you'll take control and make it work in your favor. Chapter 3. The cost of wasted time. Expenses versus investments. Time, like money, can either be invested or spent. Every choice you make throughout the day determines whether your time compounds into future success or vanishes without a return. The most successful individuals treat time as an asset, while many unknowingly accumulate time debt, hours lost to distractions, reactive work, and low-value tasks. The real gap between those who thrive and those who struggle isn't talent or luck, it's whether they consistently make time investments or let time slip away as expenses. A time investment is any activity that generates long-term benefits. Learning new skills, deep work, strategic planning, automation, and exercise all require an upfront commitment but deliver ongoing returns. A time expense, on the other hand, provides no lasting value. Scrolling social media, attending excessive meetings, or constantly checking emails may feel productive in the moment, but they drain valuable time without moving you closer to meaningful goals. To shift from being a time spender to a time investor, start by recognizing high-yield activities. A simple question to ask yourself is, will this action make my future self more productive, knowledgeable, or successful? Reading a book may not offer instant gratification, but the knowledge it provides enhances decision-making over time. Taking an hour to automate repetitive tasks might seem insignificant today, but could save hundreds of hours over a year. Delegating low-value work frees up mental energy for strategic thinking, multiplying long-term results. One of the biggest sources of time expenses is reactive work. Many people spend their days answering emails, attending meetings, and responding to urgent but unimportant requests. This creates a cycle where they feel busy but accomplish little. Successful individuals minimize reactive work by setting clear priorities and blocking out dedicated time for deep, high-impact tasks. They control their schedule instead of letting external demands dictate how their time is spent. Multitasking is another hidden cost. While it gives the illusion of efficiency, constantly switching between tasks reduces focus and productivity. Studies show that task switching can decrease efficiency by up to 40%, as the brain requires time to refocus after each interruption. A time investor prioritizes deep, uninterrupted work, ensuring that each session builds momentum rather than being diluted by distractions. Social media and digital distractions are among the biggest modern time expenses. Scrolling through feeds, binge-watching videos, or engaging in online debates may seem like a break, but they rarely provide a meaningful return. A time investor is intentional about digital consumption, setting boundaries to ensure that technology serves their goals rather than consuming their time. They replace passive scrolling with active learning, choosing content that enriches their knowledge and skills. Meetings, if mismanaged, can be one of the biggest drains on time. Many professionals sit through endless discussions that lead to no action. A time investor ensures that meetings have clear objectives, structured agendas, and strict time limits. They decline unnecessary meetings or suggest asynchronous communication when possible. By optimizing meetings, they reclaim hours for focused, high-value work that drives long-term results. To transition from time expenses to time investments, begin with a time audit. Track how you spend each hour for a week, then categorize activities as investments or expenses. Identify recurring time drains and create strategies to reduce or eliminate them. Just as a financial investor moves money from low-performing assets to high-yield opportunities, a time investor reallocates hours toward activities with lasting benefits. One powerful strategy is applying the 80-20 rule, the principle that 80% of results come from 20% of efforts. Identify the tasks that create the greatest impact and prioritize them. Eliminate, delegate, or automate the 80% of activities that contribute little to long-term success. By focusing on high-impact work, you ensure that your time investments generate exponential returns. Equally important to making time investments is protecting them. Guard your focus time, set boundaries, and learn to say no to low-value commitments. Just as financial wealth compounds when left to grow undisturbed, productivity multiplies when time investments are shielded from constant interruptions. Success is determined by how you allocate your time. Invest it wisely, and your productivity compounds, unlocking new opportunities and long-term growth. Spend it carelessly, and progress slows while goals drift further away. The shift from time spender to time investor isn't about working harder, it's about ensuring that every moment contributes to something greater. Every decision either builds your time wealth or depletes it. The real question is, are you making investments or accumulating expenses? Chapter 4. The 1% Rule. Tiny adjustments, massive growth. Small, consistent improvements lead to extraordinary results over time. Just as compound interest allows money to grow exponentially, the way you use time compounds in ways that aren't immediately visible. The 1% rule states that improving by just 1% each day results in massive gains over months and years. While minor adjustments may seem insignificant in the moment, their cumulative effect can transform productivity, efficiency, and long-term success. Consider writing just 200 words a day. It feels like a small effort, but in a year, that's over 70,000 words, the length of a full book. Reading 10 pages daily adds up to dozens of books per year. Eliminating 30 minutes of distractions each day reclaims over 180 hours annually. Small actions don't just provide immediate benefits, they build momentum, making future progress feel easier and more automatic. Many people overestimate what they can accomplish in a day, but underestimate what they can achieve in a year. They set ambitious goals, expecting quick breakthroughs, only to feel discouraged when results don't appear instantly. The most successful individuals understand that progress isn't about giant leaps, it's about steady, incremental improvements that compound into something extraordinary. Habits are the foundation of the 1% rule. Every repeated action strengthens neural pathways, turning behaviors into automatic routines. Positive habits accumulate into high performance, while negative habits compound into wasted potential. The key isn't perfection but consistent improvement. Instead of aiming for overnight transformation, focus on being slightly better today than you were yesterday. Over time, these small gains create a competitive advantage. The 1% rule is especially powerful in skill development. Mastering something new often feels slow at first, but every small improvement builds on previous progress. Dedicating just 20 minutes daily to a skill leads to significant growth within months. Whether it's improving communication, learning a language, or refining technical expertise, small efforts compound into expertise and confidence. Eliminating inefficiencies is another way to apply the 1% rule. Minor adjustments in daily routines free up time for more meaningful work. Automating a repetitive task might save just a few minutes per day, but over a year, those minutes translate into hours of regained productivity. Streamlining workflows, setting clear priorities, and reducing distractions create an environment where high-impact work thrives. One of the most overlooked benefits of the 1% rule is the psychological effect of small wins. Each tiny improvement reinforces motivation and builds momentum. Completing one extra task, waking up 5 minutes earlier, or handling emails more efficiently may seem trivial, but these actions strengthen discipline and confidence. Over time, small victories create the mindset that larger goals are within reach. Compounding works in reverse, too. Just as small improvements add up to success, minor inefficiencies snowball into major losses. Hitting the snooze button once seems harmless, but repeated daily, it leads to hours of wasted time. Checking social media for just a few minutes per hour disrupts focus, adding up to significant distractions. Small indulgences in procrastination, poor habits, or wasted time may feel insignificant in isolation, but their cumulative effect is costly. To apply the 1% rule effectively, start by identifying key areas for improvement. Instead of making drastic changes, focus on small, sustainable adjustments. Track progress and celebrate incremental gains. Over time, these minor improvements will create significant results. The key is consistency. Real transformation happens when small, intentional actions are repeated daily. One major advantage of the 1% rule is that it reduces resistance to change. Big goals can feel overwhelming, leading to procrastination. Small, continuous improvements feel achievable. Once a habit takes root, it requires less effort to maintain, making long-term success easier to sustain. The most effective strategies for success don't rely on sudden bursts of motivation, but on daily repetition. The question isn't whether time compounds, it's whether you're using it to work for you or against you. Small improvements may not seem dramatic at first, but over time, they create exponential growth. The best financial investors don't wait for perfect conditions, they start early and remain consistent. The same applies to time investment. Those who commit to 1% improvements each day set themselves on a trajectory for life-changing transformation. Chapter 5. Deep work, the highest yield investment. In a world full of distractions, the ability to focus deeply is one of the most valuable skills you can develop. Deep work, the practice of concentrating fully on cognitively demanding tasks, delivers the highest return on time investment. It allows you to accomplish more in less time, produce higher quality results, and develop expertise that compounds over time. Unlike shallow work, which consists of routine, low-value tasks, deep work maximizes productivity by eliminating distractions and directing energy toward high-impact activities. Most people struggle with deep work because modern environments are designed for constant interruptions. Email alerts, social media notifications, and instant messages create a reactive mindset, pulling attention away from meaningful work. When focus is constantly broken, progress slows and complex thinking becomes more difficult. Shallow work keeps you busy, but it doesn't create lasting value. A time investor recognizes this and structures their day to protect deep work sessions. The first step to mastering deep work is scheduling uninterrupted time. Short bursts of focus are ineffective because the brain needs time to fully engage with complex problems. Studies show that after an interruption, it can take over 20 minutes to regain full concentration. A time investor carves out long, distraction-free blocks to ensure mental energy is used for high-value tasks rather than fragmented attention. Eliminating distractions is just as important as setting aside time. Turning off notifications, setting clear boundaries, and creating an optimized work environment are essential. Many high achievers adopt a monastic approach to deep work, treating it as sacred. They avoid unnecessary meetings, limit communication during focus periods, and establish habits that reinforce sustained attention. These small changes compound into significant productivity gains over time. One of the most effective deep work strategies is time blocking. Instead of reacting to tasks as they arise, a time investor plans dedicated focus periods and treats them as non-negotiable. Many top performers structure their day with alternating deep work sessions and recovery breaks, maximizing efficiency while preventing burnout. Deep work also requires mental endurance. Just as athletes build stamina through training, your ability to focus strengthens with practice. Long periods of concentration may feel difficult at first, but over time, they become second nature. The key is gradual exposure, starting with shorter sessions and progressively increasing focus duration. To get the most from deep work, prioritize the most cognitively demanding tasks. Not all work requires deep focus, so identify the activities that yield the highest returns. Creative problem solving, strategic planning, and complex analysis benefit the most from deep work. Routine administrative tasks, by contrast, can often be batched or delegated, freeing up more time for meaningful work. Flow states, the feeling of effortless, highly engaging work, often emerge during deep work. These occur when challenge levels match skill levels, pushing cognitive ability without causing frustration or boredom. A time investor actively cultivates flow by setting clear goals, eliminating distractions, and immersing fully in their work. The more frequently flow states occur, the more productive deep work sessions become. One of the most common mistakes people make is underestimating the power of deep work. Many believe that long hours equal productivity, failing to realize that undistracted focus is far more effective. Someone who engages in just 2 hours of deep work per day often achieves more than someone who works 10 hours in a scattered, reactive manner. When it comes to time investment, quality always trumps quantity. The biggest barrier to deep work is resistance. The brain naturally seeks low-effort tasks because deep focus requires energy. Overcoming this resistance takes commitment. Rituals such as starting work at the same time each day, using noise-canceling headphones, or working in a dedicated space reinforce the habit of deep focus. Over time, these reinforcements compound into greater efficiency and effectiveness. Mastering deep work is a competitive advantage. Those who develop this skill create meaningful work, achieve breakthroughs, and accelerate career growth. In contrast, those stuck in shallow work stay busy but make little real progress. Time investors understand that deep work isn't just another productivity tool, it's the foundation of long-term success. The challenge isn't finding time for deep work, but having the discipline to protect it. Chapter 6. Automation and Delegation. Freeing up future time. The most effective time investors don't work harder, they work smarter. Automation and delegation are two of the most powerful tools for freeing up time, allowing productivity to compound. By reducing manual effort on repetitive tasks, you create systems that let you reinvest time into deep work, learning, and strategic decision-making. Every minute saved today translates into exponential growth over months and years. Automation leverages technology to handle repetitive tasks. Many daily activities, such as email responses, scheduling, and data entry, can be automated, minimizing time spent on low-value work. A simple automation, like using email filters or setting up calendar reminders, might save only a few minutes per day, but over a year, those minutes add up to hours of regained time. The more tasks you automate, the more bandwidth you free up for meaningful work. A key principle of automation is systemization. Any task that is performed repeatedly should be evaluated for automation potential. If a process follows a predictable pattern, chances are it can be streamlined with technology. Tools like workflow automation software, calendar schedulers, and AI-driven assistants eliminate inefficiencies, reducing the need for manual intervention. The best time investors continually refine their systems, ensuring that they spend as little time as possible on repetitive work. Delegation is just as critical. Many people resist delegation, believing that doing everything themselves is faster or more efficient. But time investors recognize that their focus should be on high-impact activities. Tasks that do not require their unique expertise are prime candidates for delegation. By offloading responsibilities to others, they create leverage, multiplying productivity without increasing personal workload. The key to effective delegation is clarity. Assigning tasks without clear instructions often results in more work, not less. The most successful leaders provide detailed guidelines, set expectations, and equip their teams with the necessary resources, ensuring tasks are completed with minimal supervision. Investing time up front in training or documenting processes leads to long-term efficiency gains. A common mistake is waiting until overwhelm sets in before delegating. When tasks pile up, rushed decisions lead to poor delegation, inefficiencies, and missed opportunities. Instead, proactive delegation ensures work is distributed effectively before reaching a crisis point. This approach prevents bottlenecks and keeps productivity flowing smoothly. Not all tasks should be delegated. High-level decision-making, strategic planning, and creative problem-solving require direct involvement. However, administrative work, routine data management, and customer inquiries can often be handled by others. The goal is to identify what only you can do and delegate everything else. The more time you allocate to high-value work, the greater the long-term return on your time investment. Outsourcing is one of the best ways to implement delegation. Entrepreneurs and businesses frequently use virtual assistants, freelance specialists, or automated customer support to manage routine tasks. While outsourcing requires an initial investment, the long-term benefits outweigh the costs. A business owner who outsources administrative work may spend money up front but gains back hours each week to focus on innovation, strategy, and growth. Automation and delegation are not about avoiding work. They're about reallocating time to what truly matters. Without these tools, productivity is capped by the number of hours in a day. With them, output scales exponentially, allowing individuals and businesses to achieve more with less effort. The key is building systems that operate efficiently with minimal input. One of the greatest benefits of automation and delegation is reducing cognitive load. Decision fatigue is a real drain on productivity. The more minor tasks you handle daily, the more mental energy is depleted. By automating processes and delegating responsibilities, time investors preserve their cognitive resources for critical thinking and high-impact work. This leads to better decisions and superior results. An important mindset shift is recognizing that automation and delegation are long-term investments. Setting up a system or training a team member takes time up front, but the payoff compounds over time. Many people resist these processes because they focus on the short-term effort instead of the long-term benefits. The most successful individuals view automation and delegation as essential productivity tools, just like deep work and strategic planning. The biggest obstacle to implementing automation and delegation is resistance to change. People often cling to manual processes out of habit, even when better solutions exist. Overcoming this resistance requires a commitment to continuous improvement, regularly evaluating workflows, adopting new tools, and refining delegation strategies ensure that productivity continues to compound. Automation and delegation are not luxuries, they are necessities for maximizing time investment. The most successful time investors do not waste energy on repetitive work, they build systems that allow them to focus on what truly matters. Every minute saved through automation or delegation is a minute reinvested into long-term success. Chapter 7. Auditing your time. Identifying high-yield activities. Time investment begins with awareness. Just as a financial investor tracks expenses and reallocates funds to maximize returns, a time investor must audit their daily activities to ensure that time is being used effectively. Without understanding where your hours go, meaningful improvements are impossible. A time audit is the first step in identifying high-yield activities that generate long-term benefits while eliminating time drains that provide little or no return. Many people assume they know how they spend their time, but studies show they often underestimate the hours lost to distractions, unnecessary tasks, and low-value work. A time audit provides clarity, uncovering patterns that might otherwise go unnoticed. It forces you to confront whether your daily activities align with your priorities, or if much of your time is slipping away without purpose. A simple way to conduct a time audit is to track every activity for 1 week. Record what you do, how long each task takes, and whether it contributes to your goals. Categorize tasks into 3 groups: high-yield investments, necessary maintenance, and time drains. High-yield activities create meaningful progress, such as deep work, skill building, and strategic planning. Necessary maintenance includes essential but non-growth tasks like email management and administrative work. Time drains are low-value activities that consume time without producing significant results. Once your audit is complete, analyze where the majority of your time is going. If high-yield activities dominate your schedule, you are investing time effectively. However, if maintenance tasks and time drains take up most of your hours, adjustments are needed. The goal is to shift more time into high-yield activities while reducing distractions and inefficiencies. One of the biggest revelations from a time audit is the hidden cost of multitasking. Many people believe juggling multiple tasks increases efficiency, but in reality, it fragments focus and reduces overall productivity. Every time attention shifts, mental energy is depleted, making work slower and less effective. Identifying instances of unnecessary multitasking allows you to restructure your workflow for deeper concentration. Meetings are another area where time is frequently wasted. Many professionals spend hours in discussions that lead to no concrete outcomes. A time audit often reveals that excessive meetings consume large portions of the week without delivering proportional value. The solution is to implement strict meeting guidelines, attending only those that require direct input, and ensuring every meeting has a clear agenda and purpose. Email and instant messaging contribute significantly to time leakage. Constantly checking and responding to messages fosters a reactive work environment, preventing deep focus. A time audit typically shows that frequent context switching between communication tools and meaningful work slows overall progress. The best approach is to schedule specific time blocks for handling messages rather than responding impulsively throughout the day. One of the most valuable insights from auditing time is recognizing the difference between being busy and being productive. Many people fill their schedules with tasks, but make little progress toward their long-term goals. The best time investors understand that effectiveness matters more than effort. They prioritize tasks that create lasting impact, rather than simply trying to check off as many items as possible. A key benefit of a time audit is identifying opportunities for automation and delegation. If repetitive tasks consume a large portion of your schedule, consider automating them with technology or delegating them to others. Freeing up even a small percentage of daily time compounds into significant productivity gains over the long run. After completing a time audit, the next step is implementing changes. Start by eliminating or reducing time drains, then reallocate those recovered hours to high-yield activities. This might mean restructuring your schedule to protect deep work time, setting stronger boundaries around meetings, or adopting new tools to streamline processes. The key is not just tracking time but actively optimizing how it is spent. Regular time audits ensure that your efforts remain aligned with your goals. Productivity strategies that worked months ago may become outdated as responsibilities evolve. By periodically reviewing how time is being spent, you stay adaptable and continuously refine your approach. The best time investors treat time management as an ongoing process rather than a one-time fix. A time audit is a reality check, a way to measure whether your daily habits align with your long-term success. It uncovers inefficiencies, highlights opportunities for improvement, and ensures that time investments compound rather than being wasted. Without awareness, time slips away unnoticed. With intentional tracking and adjustments, every minute can be directed toward maximum impact. Chapter 8. Eliminating Distractions, the Time Drain Trap. Distractions are the silent killers of time investment. They seem harmless in the moment but compound into massive time losses over weeks and months. A few minutes lost to social media, unnecessary meetings, or constant notifications may feel insignificant, but when repeated daily, they amount to hundreds of wasted hours each year. The ability to eliminate distractions is one of the most valuable skills a time investor can develop. The first step in eliminating distractions is recognizing their hidden cost. Most people underestimate how much time they lose to small interruptions. Studies show that after being distracted, it takes an average of 20 minutes to regain deep focus. If this cycle repeats throughout the day, it results in hours of lost productivity. A time investor protects focus by proactively removing sources of interruption before they derail progress. One of the biggest distractions in modern life is digital noise. Smartphones, social media, and email notifications constantly compete for attention. The brain is wired to seek novelty, making it difficult to resist checking messages or scrolling through updates. However, this habit conditions the mind for short-term stimulation instead of sustained focus. The best solution is to create a controlled digital environment by disabling notifications, using website blockers, and setting specific times for checking messages. Multitasking is another major distraction trap. Many people believe that juggling multiple tasks improves efficiency, but research shows the opposite. Task switching weakens concentration, reduces output quality, and increases cognitive fatigue. A time investor prioritizes single tasking, dedicating each work session to one meaningful activity before moving on to the next. Meetings are one of the biggest workplace distractions. While some discussions are necessary, many consume valuable time without producing meaningful outcomes. Unstructured conversations, excessive participants, and vague agendas turn meetings into productivity black holes. A time investor minimizes meeting time by setting clear objectives, attending only when necessary, and replacing unnecessary meetings with written communication. Email and instant messaging are constant sources of interruption. Many professionals feel pressured to check and respond immediately, leading to a reactive work style that fragments attention. The most successful individuals schedule specific blocks of time for communication, rather than allowing messages to dictate their workflow. They set boundaries, such as responding to emails only twice a day, ensuring that deep work remains uninterrupted. The physical environment also plays a crucial role in eliminating distractions. A cluttered workspace creates mental chaos, making it harder to focus. Background noise from coworkers, household members, or media can repeatedly break concentration. A time investor optimizes their workspace by minimizing clutter, using noise-canceling headphones, or setting up a dedicated area for deep work. Small adjustments in the environment lead to significant improvements in focus and efficiency. Procrastination is a self-imposed distraction that often disguises itself as productivity. Many people avoid difficult tasks by engaging in low-value activities that feel productive but don't contribute to real progress. Checking emails, reorganizing files, or endlessly researching without taking action are common avoidance behaviors. A time investor overcomes procrastination by breaking large tasks into smaller, manageable steps and starting immediately rather than waiting for the perfect conditions. Social interruptions are another overlooked distraction. Whether it's colleagues dropping by unannounced or unnecessary phone calls, these small disruptions add up quickly. Setting boundaries is essential. Politely communicating when deep work is in progress, using do not disturb signals, and scheduling social interactions outside of peak focus hours ensures that work time remains protected. One of the most powerful strategies for distraction-free work is time blocking. By scheduling dedicated periods for deep work, communication, and breaks, a time investor ensures that focus remains uninterrupted. Structured work sessions create a predictable rhythm that minimizes the temptation to engage in distractions and maximizes productivity. Eliminating distractions is not about working longer, it's about working smarter. Time investors understand that every distraction steals potential productivity. By designing an environment that supports focus, setting clear boundaries, and controlling digital temptations, they reclaim lost hours and direct them toward meaningful progress. Success isn't about doing more, it's about doing what matters without interruption. By mastering distraction management, a time investor ensures that every moment is working in their favor, rather than being wasted on low-value activities. Chapter 9. The Time Budget. Creating a high-return routine. A financial budget ensures money is allocated wisely, preventing waste and maximizing returns. A time budget serves the same purpose, ensuring that every hour is invested intentionally rather than lost to inefficiency. Without structure, time naturally drifts toward distractions, reactive tasks, and unproductive habits. A time investor designs a daily routine that compounds productivity, aligning every action with long-term goals. The first step in creating a time budget is setting clear priorities. Just as a financial investor allocates funds toward high-yield investments, a time investor prioritizes tasks that generate the greatest long-term benefits. These include deep work, skill building, and strategic planning. Defining high-value activities in advance reduces decision fatigue and ensures that time is consistently directed toward meaningful progress. A successful time budget also includes necessary maintenance tasks. Administrative work, meetings, and communication must be managed, but they should never dominate the schedule. The key is to contain these activities within predefined time blocks, preventing them from consuming prime productivity hours. A structured approach ensures that necessary tasks are handled efficiently without encroaching on deep work. Time blocking is one of the most effective strategies for implementing a time budget. Instead of allowing tasks to fill the day randomly, time investors assign specific periods for focused work, meetings, and breaks. This structured approach prevents reactive decision-making and ensures that each time block is optimized. A well-designed schedule builds momentum, making productivity feel effortless rather than a daily struggle. Mornings are often the most valuable hours of the day. Research shows that willpower and cognitive energy are highest in the early hours, making it the ideal time for deep, focused work. A time investor protects the first part of the day for high-impact tasks, avoiding distractions like email and social media. By front-loading essential work, they ensure that the most important tasks are completed before external demands arise. Breaks are an essential component of a high-return routine. Just as financial investors diversify assets to manage risk, time investors incorporate rest to maintain long-term performance. Short breaks between deep work sessions prevent mental fatigue, while longer recovery periods, such as exercise, walks, or meditation, restore energy levels. The best routines strike a balance between effort and recovery, ensuring sustained high performance over time. Eliminating decision fatigue is another advantage of a well-structured routine. Every decision requires mental energy, and small choices throughout the day deplete cognitive resources. A time investor simplifies decision-making by automating routines, preparing meals in advance, setting a consistent morning schedule, and batching similar tasks to reduce unnecessary choices. This preserves focus for high-priority work. A strong evening routine sets the foundation for a productive next day. Reviewing accomplishments, planning tasks, and winding down with relaxing activities improves sleep quality and mental clarity. Sleep is one of the most overlooked productivity investments. Poor rest leads to diminished focus, slower thinking, and reduced efficiency. A time investor prioritizes high-quality sleep, recognizing that mental sharpness is essential for sustained performance. Flexibility is necessary for long-term consistency. A rigid schedule may seem effective, but unexpected events will always arise. A well-designed time budget allows for adaptability, ensuring that disruptions don't derail progress. Time investors build contingency buffers into their routines, accommodating unforeseen tasks without sacrificing high-priority work. Tracking and refining the time budget ensures continuous improvement. Just as financial investors review portfolios to optimize returns, time investors analyze how their routines impact productivity. Regular self-assessment helps identify inefficiencies, adjust time allocations, and reinforce habits that generate the best results. The best routines evolve over time, adapting to new challenges and opportunities. A high-return routine is not about filling every hour with work. It's about ensuring that every hour is used with purpose. A scattered, unstructured day leads to wasted effort, while a well-planned schedule compounds success. The best time investors understand that a disciplined approach to time management is the key to exponential progress. Success is not about how many hours you work, it's about how wisely those hours are invested. A well-structured time budget prevents waste, maximizes focus, and ensures that daily actions contribute to long-term achievements. With intentional planning, time becomes an asset that works for you, rather than something that slips away unnoticed. Chapter 10. Protecting your time wealth, boundaries and priorities. Just as financial investors safeguard their assets against unnecessary risks, time investors must protect their most valuable resource. Without clear boundaries, time is easily depleted by distractions, obligations, and low-value tasks that offer little long-term return. Protecting time wealth requires setting firm priorities, establishing strong boundaries, and ensuring that every moment is allocated to high-impact activities. The first step in protecting time wealth is defining what truly matters. Without clear priorities, external demands dictate how time is spent. A time investor identifies high-impact activities that contribute to long-term goals and ensures these take precedence. Without this structure, urgent but unimportant tasks take over, leaving little time for deep work and strategic thinking. Setting priorities in advance prevents time from being hijacked by low-value commitments. One of the biggest threats to time wealth is saying yes too often. Many people overcommit out of obligation or fear of missing out. However, every yes to one activity is a no to another. Time investors understand their capacity is limited and carefully evaluate requests before agreeing. They ask, "Does this align with my priorities?" If not, they decline or delegate the task. Protecting time requires the discipline to say no without guilt. Distractions are another major drain on time wealth. Digital notifications, social media, and constant messages fragment attention and weaken productivity. A time investor creates barriers to interruptions, turning off non-essential notifications, using focus modes, and setting specific times for checking messages. By minimizing disruptions, they ensure deep work remains undisturbed. Protecting focus time compounds results, making every work session significantly more productive. Meetings are another common time drain. Many professionals spend hours in discussions that lead to little action. A time investor limits meeting attendance to only those that require their direct input. They enforce agendas, set time limits, and suggest alternative communication methods when a meeting isn't necessary. The goal is to prevent time from being wasted on unproductive discussions. Boundaries must also extend to personal life. Many people struggle to separate work from personal time, leading to burnout and decreased efficiency. A time investor designates clear work hours and personal time, ensuring balance. They communicate boundaries to colleagues and family, making it clear when they are available and when they are not. Without these boundaries, time seeps away into reactive obligations rather than proactive investments. Protecting time wealth also involves eliminating unnecessary decision-making. Decision fatigue depletes mental energy, reducing productivity. By streamlining daily choices, such as setting fixed routines, planning meals, and automating recurring tasks, a time investor conserves focus for high-priority work. The fewer trivial decisions made each day, the more energy is available for meaningful progress. Social commitments can also impact time wealth. While relationships are important, not all interactions provide value. A time investor is selective about engagements, prioritizing relationships that bring fulfillment and growth. They avoid time-wasting conversations, unnecessary social obligations, and energy-draining interactions. Protecting time means ensuring that even social activities align with overall priorities. Technology can be both a productivity tool and a distraction. A time investor ensures that digital tools serve efficiency rather than hinder it. They set limits on screen time, use automation for repetitive tasks, and create digital-free zones to maintain focus. By using technology intentionally, they maximize productivity while preventing digital overload from consuming valuable hours. Reviewing and adjusting boundaries regularly ensures continued protection of time wealth. Priorities evolve and new demands arise, so boundaries must be reassessed periodically. A time investor conducts regular time audits to identify where time leaks occur and makes necessary adjustments. This proactive approach ensures that time remains aligned with long-term goals. Ultimately, protecting time wealth is about control. Instead of allowing external forces to dictate how time is spent, a time investor takes charge. They allocate time strategically, enforce boundaries firmly, and ensure that every minute contributes to meaningful progress. The difference between those who achieve extraordinary success and those who remain stuck is not talent, but how they protect and invest their time. Take care and be well.